With UFC 325 done and in the books, today's video is going to be about matchmaking some of the fighters, some of the notable fighters at least, from UFC 325. We got a handful of winners from the main card, some losers, then we got a couple of prelim fighters, so I won't waste any more time. I'll jump right into it, starting, of course, with the main event winner, Volkanovski, Alexander Volkanovski, that is. I mean, this is kind of an easy one, Right after he won, the fight between Movsar Evloev and Lerone Murphy was booked. So, this might be a little bit of a spoiler into who I'm picking for that fight card. Just a heads up in advance. But regardless of who it is, whether it's Evloev or Murphy, I think the winner of that is undeniable for the featherweight shot next. I think it's going to be Evloev as it stands right now. I'll have to maybe I'll change my mind whenever I look into it a little bit more and start really digging into the fight. But yeah, I think the winner of that fight is 100% next in line for the featherweight title. I mean, there's no question about it. Evloev, I would say he already had the most deserving resume out of any featherweight contender before Diego Lopes got this title shot. So I think he should have had it to begin with, but he's having to fight one more time. If he gets it done, he'll definitely be next. And then Lerone Murphy, if he's able to take away Movsar Evloev 0, then yeah, I think he's definitely next in line. Both of these guys are going to be competing to take the other one 0 away. So it's a big fight, big stakes, and yeah, the winner of that fight is going to be next for the featherweight belt. Make no mistake about it. Moving on to the main event loser. Kills me to say it, man. Kills me to say it. Diego Lopes. I have him matched up with a guy that, this is a fight that's been brewing for a while. This is a fight that's been needing to happen for a while, and that is him versus Yair Rodriguez. Yair, he's probably a win or two at least away from talking about fighting for the title. Given how he beat Pitbull and then he decided to sit out and demand a title shot. Well, it didn't work. It backfired. And now he's been lapped like multiple times. So he's got some ground to make up if he wants to get back into title contention. And the way to do that is to beat one of the biggest stars in the featherweight division, Diego Lopes. So I think this is a matchup he should take. I know he's acted in the past like he's too high and mighty to take this fight because Diego Lopes fought for the belt and lost, which is something he's done as well. It's ridiculous. I feel like about not a year ago, it was probably about 8 months ago. Yair was ducking Diego big time. He did not want anything to do with that fight. That was the matchup to make at UFC Noche, but unfortunately Gene Silva, he was the one that had to get it. So Yair, no more running from it. This is the matchup to make. It's a bad blood matchup. Both these guys kind of have a similar standing in the featherweight division. And yeah, I think this is a no brainer. It'd be sick. I know they have the UFC Noche card, like the fight night at least, or maybe it's not a Noche card, but it's the one in Mexico City. I know they have that coming up in February, so obviously they're gonna miss the bus for that. But usually in September or whenever that Mexican Independence Day is, they have a big Mexican themed card. So this is a no brainer. This is a no brainer. This fight, if it's not made for that card, it has to be made. Period. For another card. Late summer, I'm thinking, Diego's gonna need some time off. He broke both of his feet, took some big shots in that fight as he did in the first fight, so he's gonna need a little bit of time off to recover and work on his game a little bit. So, but yeah, this is definitely the next matchup to make for both these guys. I mean, this is a bad blood matchup. Makes sense. We'll move on to the main event winner, which is Benoit Saint Denis, and I have him matched up with, he called out the BMF winner. He called it the BMF winner, but I don't think that fight's going to happen. I don't think he's going to get that fight because I think the winner of that fight is going to fight Arman Tsarukyan in a number one contenders fight in the lightweight division. Instead, though, I have him fighting the guy who just fought for the interim belt and came up short, Paddy Pimblett. I think, this is a matchup between one of the biggest stars in the lightweight division and a budding star in the lightweight division in Benoit Saint Denis. This would be a big name value matchup. And it would be a win that gets Benoit a lot of legitimacy. I mean, Paddy's no slouch. He's very, very good on the ground. So if Benoit is able to implement his game plan of just bulldoze through guys and mash them on the ground, if he's able to do that to Paddy, then he is a legit problem at 155. So I think this matchup makes a lot of sense. Paddy coming off a loss, Benoit coming off a win. Given where they're at in the rankings, I think Paddy might be like one spot above him. And if they decide to do that BMF fight, that'd be great. Benoit versus the winner of Oliveira versus Holloway. I think that'd be fantastic too. That would be a sick fight. But I really think that fight's going to Arman Tsarukyan to hash out who's going to be next in line after Justin Gaethje. So this would be a sick fight. No doubt this would be a banger. This would be a slugfest. a little bit, probably look pretty sloppy on the feet, but it would be a war, and that's what we all come for. So this would be a sick fight, and I think it makes sense with the trajectory both guys are on. We'll move on to the co-main loser, which is Dan Hooker. And unfortunately for Dan Hooker, he's going to have to get sacrificed to Mauricio Ruffy. He just is. And that'll tell you who my matchup is next for the feature fight winner, Mauricio Ruffy. I have these two squaring off against each other. It makes sense where both guys are at in the rankings. It makes sense timeline-wise. I know Dan Hooker got hit with some mean elbows, but it's not like he got knocked out cold or anything. If Ruffy's wanting to make like a really quick turnaround, that fight's not going to be able to be made possible. But if this is a fight that he's willing to wait, 4 or 5 months for, I think this is a fight that can get done mid to late summer, no doubt about it. I think this would be a sick fight too. Dan Hooker's down for a scrap in any fight he gets into. Mauricio Ruffy, I mean, he is probably the most fun striker to watch at lightweight. He is a joy to watch. I think he'd probably take Dan Hooker's head off. So this makes sense. I think, with Dan Hooker coming off back-to-back losses, I think they're going to be looking to kind of, he's on that trajectory where they're going to start feeding him to prospects, and I think Ruffy's going to be that prospect they feed him to. We'll move on to the feature fight loser, Rafael Fiziev, and I have him matched up with Fares Ziam. I think this would be a very entertaining fight for one. I think their styles clash can be great. Fares Ziam does a really good job of mixing everything up. He's got good knees, good kicks, good elbows. He's got it all. He knows how to mix up his strikes just like Fiziev does with his Muay Thai style. So I think this would be a very fun fight to watch on the feet. I also think it would test Fiziev's grappling a little bit, which has kind of been left unchecked for a while. So I would like to see this fight. It makes sense with Ziam. He definitely deserves a top 10 fight. He's earned it. He has worked his way through so many contenders outside the rankings, and he keeps getting snubbed for big fights, but I think this is his chance to get into the top 10 against Rafael Fiziev, and my oh my, this would be a sick fight. We'll move on. Talison Teixeira. Before I even talk about Talison, the loser of Talison versus Tai Tuivasa, that is, I don't even have a matchup for him. Just get him gone. I mean, we can't. I know he's a fan favorite. I know all this stuff. I know he's had big knockouts in the past. People were calling him the next Marka Hunt and stuff. He's got to go, bro. He's got to go. He's shit. I'm just like, that was disgraceful. And I mean, it was also disgraceful from Talison Teixeira, but he won, so you kind of got to keep him around. But with that being said, feed him to Walter Walker. Let Walter Walker go out there and heel hook him within a couple minutes. I mean, Walter Walker's tearing through the heavyweight division. He's just heel hooking everybody in his path. And Talison Teixeira, that performance left a lot to be inspired by. So I would like this matchup to be made. Gives Walter Walker a shot against a ranked opponent. He is ranked currently. I think he's number 14 in the division, but he hasn't beaten anybody inside of the division. It's one of those situations where beat a handful of guys outside the rankings, and voila, heavyweight's top 15 because they've done that. So this would actually give him a ranked win, which would be good for his career, and then we could start talking about a top 10 matchup next for him. But yeah, Talison, that was abysmal. That was abysmal, and he should be fighting down next. So give him Walter Walker. We'll move on to Quillan Salkilld, the card opener winner. And speaking of feeding people to other people, I'm sorry, Beneil Dariush, but it's time. It's time. You need to be a lamb led to slaughter yet again. I hate to say it. This feels wrong even coming out of my mouth. This is just a disgusting matchup. Beneil Dariush shouldn't be fighting again, period. His chin is eviscerated. He moves like a sloth on the feet. He has no business fighting. But if he so chooses, if he wants to continue, you have no choice but to sacrifice him to some prospects. I mean, he just got dropped and KO'd in 16 seconds. So he doesn't have any legs to stand on in his lightweight division. He's going to kind of take what he's given at this point in his career. And I think, Quillan Salkilld, you're kind of saving the Beneil Dariush card for someone who has real star power. And I think Quillan Salkilld, I think they've found their guy who has that level of star power and that potential in the lightweight division. Very dynamic. He can do it both ways. He can strike. He can knock people out on the feet. He can get submissions on the ground, out wrestle people. He's really, really well rounded. He's really entertaining. And he's a funny dude outside the cage. He's hilarious. Like, I watched the video of him and Jaden Cable doing and Bedtime MMA doing the plane. Would you sit next to them on a plane tier list? The dude is fucking hilarious. He's great. He's got all the makings of a star. So I think that's what they're going to set Beneil Dariush up with next. I think they're going to give him an upcoming star who can KO him quickly, and I think that's what's going to happen in this matchup. We'll move on to the last guy I'm going to make a matchup for, and that is Billy Elikana coming off his win over Junior Tafa. He's put together a nice little streak outside the light heavyweight rankings. He's beaten, I think, three guys in a row. He beat Ibo Aslan, Then he beat Kevin Christian, I believe, the guy from the Contender Series. And now he's beat Junior Tafa. Put together a nice little run. I'd like to see him get a jump up in competition. And I want him to fight someone that, if he wins this matchup, then he gets a top 15 shot next. And I think the perfect name for that is Modestas Bukauskas, who's coming off a loss just a week prior to when Billy Elikana fought. I think this makes sense. You know, Bukauskas, he had his chance to get into the rankings with that fight with Krylov. He fumbled it. He didn't win that fight. So now it's going to be time for him to fight down the rankings. And I think the guy you should be looking to take on is Billy Elikana. I think this would be a fun fight. It'd be really good striking on display. Good technical striking. Maybe not the highest level of light heavyweights. You know, I'm not completely sold on Billy Elikana yet. He does get hurt quite a bit. But this would be a very technically skilled matchup on the feet. And I think it'd be fun to watch. So, and it makes sense with where both of these guys are at in the division. So this is what I would do next for Billy Elikana. And yeah, that's really all I got for the UFC 325 post-card matchmaking video. If you watch this far, I greatly appreciate it. And I would also appreciate it if you'd be willing to drop a like and subscribe. And yeah, that is all I got for you guys. I'll have the UFC Apex card, the Bautista versus Oliveira predictions out probably tomorrow. So I will see you guys then.